Paki-VM yung Good morning, Malacanang Press Corps. Welcome sa Mindanao R, Bangon Marawi. Today, we have Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Good morning, sir.
Morning. To give us updates on the Marawi situation, we have ASEC Christopher James Purisima, Deputy Administrator for Administration of the Office of Civil Defense. ASEC Purisima.
Thank you, Spokesperson Abella. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Malacanang Press Corps. Here are the updates from your Task Force Bangon Marawi. A Bangon Marawi Youth Leadership Camp organized by the Provincial Government of Lanao del Sur, Provincial DRRM Office, Project OGOP, AFP, and PNP is being held in Mindanao State University, Marawi City. Around 80 youth leaders from the evacuation centers in Lanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur, and Iligan City registered for the Youth Leadership Camp, which focuses on environmental leadership, peace education, and community building activities. On relief assistance and cash for work program, the total assistance for the IDPs thus far amounts to 3.35 billion pesos through the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Relief assistance includes family food packs, kitchen kits, hygiene kits, sleeping kits, and drinking water kits distributed to our IDPs. Various sectors continue to help the IDPs through relief operations and medical assistance. Last Saturday, Caritas Internationalis, in coordination with the Iligan City Social Welfare and Development Office, donated food packs, kitchenware, and hygiene kits to 3,000 families in affected areas. The group was joined by Maranao medical students of MSU, who provided medical assistance to our IDPs. On housing, the National Housing Authority is set to propose for construction four low-rise buildings in Marawi City with 60 condo-type units per building. It will be constructed at the same time as the permanent shelters, and this housing option aims to assist Marawi City Hall employees, teachers, and other employees, and will be offered at an affordable price. During the Housing Subcommittee meeting last September 21 in Iligan City, Task Force Bangon Marawi Executive Director Undersecretary Cesar Llano provided a directive to expedite the completion of the transitional shelter site. On post-conflict needs assessment, the PCNA is ongoing in the outlying areas of Marawi City and other affected localities. Fieldwork findings for the Human Recovery Needs Assessment, or HRNA, have been consolidated. Initial analysis and recommendations on strategic interventions and policies were part of the report presented to the task force. During the Human Recovery Needs Assessment, assessment teams gathered the following data: demographic profile of the IDPs, their viewpoints on disaster preparedness, response, and emergency situations, experiences on relief and early recovery interventions by the government and other community stakeholders, recommendations on housing construction, and recommendations on employment and livelihood. Members of the community who were interviewed were mostly the head of the family, women, and children. A damage and losses assessment, or what we call DALA, as part of the PCNA will proceed once the AFP has declared the areas in Marawi City cleared. Those are the updates I have for you. Thank you.
Questions?
MPC questions for Bangon Marawi. Rose Novenario.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Last week po, na during the weekend, na may binulgar po si Presidente na Lanao del Sur Drug Matrix po na may nagpupondo raw po ng maote terrorism yung mga drug lords. Doon po ba sa Task Force Bangon Marawi, bahagi po ba magiging bahagi po ba ng pagbabangon yung anti-drug campaign sa mga IDPs, pagbalik po nila sa komunidad o habang naroon po ba sila sa evacuation center, ay nagkakaroon po tayo na anti-drug awareness po sa mga IDPs?
Yes, kasama yan. No? In fact, because ang tasking naman ang mandato ng Task Force Bangon Marawi ay hindi lamang to rebuild the community or the buildings, but to rebuild the lives of the IDPs and their families. No? So this is really a rebuilding of communities. And therefore, kasama dyan yung human aspect. At kung kasama naman yan sa Human Recovery Needs Assessment, kung meron tayong assessment na kailangan nating patatagin ng ating anti-drug campaign doon sa area, gagawin natin yon. Meron ding Peace and Order Subcommittee ang Task Force Bangon Marawi na in charge din sa pagtitingin sa security situation at kasama yan siyempre sa kailangan natin tignan. So kukuha tayo ng information on the ground kung ito ba'y laganap. Siyempre iba yung financing aspect dahil yan hindi yan covered sa task force. No? But pagdating sa epekto ng illegal drugs sa area, yan rin ay tatalakayin ng task force dahil comprehensive naman ang rehabilitation and recovery na gagawin natin sa Marawi.
Thank you.
MPC question? Pia Gutierrez?
Sir, tungkol dun sa pinopropose na residential building, saan po itatayo ito, sir, and how much kaya per unit?
Well, itatayo ito within Marawi City, no? For that, although ito pa ay nasa broad stages pa lang, no? Hindi pa talaga to definite in terms of the specifications. Pero very affordable. Ang intindi natin, if I'm not mistaken, ang tinitingnan na amount is around 1,000 per month. Peso. Hindi ito magiging libre. As I understand it, hindi natin itong kayang ibigay na libre sa ating mga employees, particularly ng Marawi City. Pero titingnan natin yung pinaka-affordable price. Ito ngayon, siyempre marami tayong options na tinitingnan, no? And it's still very early. Pero isasabay ito sa pagtatayo ng ating permanent shelters.
Bakit, sir, nagtataka lang po kayo, why not instead of yung mga standalone na units, buildings na po ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, sir?
Kasi depende yan. Kasi again, number one, hindi pa tayo nakakapasok talaga dun sa ground zero. Wala pa talagang comprehensive assessment doon. Dahil meron tayong methodology for the post-conflict needs assessment. Pag nakita natin na kayang patayuan ng mga standalone structures, this will adjust accordingly. At kung kaya ng patayuan ng permanent shelters na hindi buildings, or permanent structures na hindi buildings, syempre ganun ang gagawin natin. Dahil ito yung initial na plan to fast track the recovery of the area. No? Dahil kaya naman nating mag-adjust as we go along. Depende rin talaga ito sa post-conflict needs assessment.
Thank you, sir.
MPC? No question? Rose, you have a follow-up question? Okay, Lenesca?
Good morning, sir. In relation din po sa Marawi conflict, there are previous reports that it is funded by ISIS, and then now the president says drug money funded it. So, which is which or both?
I have no
How do
information on
we
that, and
reconcile it?
that is beyond the information I have. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
MPC, no more question about Bangon Marawi. Pia, you have question about Bangon Marawi?
Wala na.
Other issue? Maricel Halili, TV5.
Maybe I need to just begin with the statement.
Okay, sir.
All right. A few statements. Father Chito officiates Mass after being held captive. Father Teresito Soganov, or better known as Father Chito, officiated a Mass for the first time on September 24, 2017, after being held hostage by the Maute terrorist group for almost 4 months. It was held inside Camp Aguinaldo with about 40 military personnel and civilians attending. It was a great celebration of life for Father Chito's personal safety was placed in danger because of the gun battles happening in Marawi. According to him, the Mass is also a thanksgiving for the lives of those who were rescued. To date, a total of 1,730 people have been rescued by government forces. Father Chito is also praying that he'll be able to hear Mass again at the St. Mary's Cathedral in Marawi once the firefight is over and the area cleared. On the Vietnamese fisherman incident in Pangasinan, authorities are now conducting a fair and thorough investigation into the incident involving a Philippine Navy vessel and Vietnamese fishing boats, which were seen fishing 34 nautical miles of Cape Bolinao in Pangasinan, well within our exclusive economic zone. The incident led to the death of 2 Vietnamese nationals, and the DFA is closely coordinating with the officials of the Vietnamese embassy in Manila to update them on the developments and to facilitate their access to the 5 other Vietnamese fishermen taken into custody by the Philippine Navy. On the 2-day transport strike, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, LTFRB, has deployed vehicles offering free rides to affected commuters. More will be deployed based on need. On the UNHRC recommendations, the Philippines has committed to fully accept 103 out of 257 recommendations that we received during the 3rd Philippine Universal Periodic Review in Geneva. A careful review and inclusive consultation with inputs from various stakeholders, especially from representatives from the state's executive, legislative, and judicial departments, was done and in line with our independent foreign policy. What really matters is that the United Nations Human Rights Council has adopted the Philippine report recognizing the country's human rights record and commitments under the leadership of President Duterte. A clarification regarding the 2017 Global Impunity Index. We stand by the statement we made for the 2017 Global Impunity Index. However, we call on everyone to exercise prudence in attributing data results which did not happen or occur during the present administration. As of today, 25th of September, day 126, terrorist victims, LTG members killed 695, civilians killed 47. Firearms recovered 698, unexploded ordnance recovered 4, improvised explosive devices recovered 11, civilians rescued 1,730, buildings cleared 18, as of September 23, 13. Killed in action 151. Regarding the cash donations, here the status of the donations as of 12:50 on the 20th of September. Marawi AFP casualty stands at 81,060,578 and 23 centavos. And the Marawi IDP is at 993,340.21. We're open to a few questions.
And Marisa Lalini, TV5.
Sir, just a quick clarification on the SALN of the cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
Sir, how do we compromise the policy of the government for
How do we?
compromise the
Compromise?
policy? Yeah, I mean, paano natin maggagawang parallel yung policy of the government? Reconcile. Yeah, that's the right word. Reconcile the policy of the government for transparency and the reduction made on the SALN of the cabinet.
I think we already clarified that. You know, the reduction is due to the fact that some personal and private matters cannot be revealed. Especially, for example, when we've said names, addresses of family members, stuff like that. So.
Pero sir, kasi na-mention din yung issue on the privacy of the government official. Pero hindi ba siya as good as waive na rin once na pumasok ka doon sa government?
No, I think that the law provides that certain aspects need to be kept private.
Thank you, sir.
Rose Novenario.
Ay, good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, kapipirma lang po kanina ni US President Donald Trump po dun sa proclamation tungkol po dun sa enhanced national security measures po ng US. Parang naghigpit sila sa pag-vetting po ng mga taong papasok sa kanilang bansa bilang proteksyon sa kanilang mga mamamayan. May plano po ba ang Malacanang na magkaroon din po ng kahalintulad na hakbang para po mapaigting o mapalakas po natin yung ating war against terrorism, considering po na may mga foreign terrorists na lumahok sa Marawi siege?
Ma'am, that's part of the, I'm sure that's part of the process na ginagawa ng gobyerno in terms of making sure that our borders are more firmly secured. But if you're asking for new laws that are being written or enacted, wala po at this stage that I know. Except that I know that there are efforts to secure our borders more closely, and that is why we are working more closely with the regional, yung mga neighbors po natin, ASEAN and Malaysia. So nagkakaroon po tayo ng closer relationships in patrolling our borders.
Tuesday New.
Sir, Secretary Abella, sir, nabanggit ka makailan ni Pangulong Duterte na he is willing to meet Father Chito Suganov. Mangyayari po ba ito at kailan po possible?
I'm sure in time magkikita po sila. Hindi ko po alam kung kailan exactly, but I'm sure in time magkikita po sila.
Yes. To ASEC Toby, sir. Sir, do you have any information kung nakuha na ng statement si Father Suganov at based on his statement, ito na yung tinatrabaho ngayon ng ating mga sundalo doon sa Marawi para matukoy kung sino-sino pa yung posibleng makuhang mga tao doon sa loob or mga
I
leader?
have no information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Questions, MPC? Joseph Morong, GMA 7.
Sir, on the UNHCR, we rejected several recommendations as far that are related to EJK. One of those is Ghana's call to have Agnes Calamar come here and conduct an investigation. Why did we reject all those 44 recommendations?
Well, this is all part of our prerogative to exercise independent foreign policy. There are certain items that we feel needs to be acted on, and in order to continue to maintain our constitutional stance of maintaining an independent foreign policy.
Yeah, aside from maintaining an independent foreign policy, does the rejection mean we are denying that there is an occurrence of extrajudicial killings?
There is no denial there. In fact, the UN has accepted what we've said. However, it's just that we maintain that there are certain parameters that need not be infringed upon.
Sir, yung kay Calamar, sabi ni Presidente before is daring naman her, no? Na last time, I think, sa Pampanga tayo, ang sabi niya, come over here and investigate for yourself and kaya kitang ipahiya. But we have this report that we are not welcoming her. Paano yan, sir?
Well, I'm sure that the finer details of that matter can be answered by DFA, no? However, as the President has also has expressed again and again, is even willing to host a contingent from the United Nations to be able to set up shop in the Philippines.
Paano, sir, yun? We did not adopt that request from Ghana, but we have a standing desire by the President to have set up a office here, and then for her to come with conditions, of course, no? Sabi ni Presidente, maintain niya yun. How do you balance it?
I'm sure that from the President's perspective, that her presence here would be, not her, the office of the, if they set up here, would be a welcome addition, would be a welcome development.
Sir, just related to EJK, there's a petition, I think, on Friday that was filed by several lawyers to Supreme Court. It's a petition from Mandamus. It's something that, one of those actions that the petitions seek is to open the investigations of EJKs to public scrutiny. Ang sinasabi nila dun, sir, may mga data that were nakalagay doon na may mga in-investigate na mga EJKs, but as to what happened to those investigations, hindi pa disclose. So in effect, it's calling on the government to disclose investigations into EJK. What's your comment on this?
That should be a matter directly answerable by the DOJ.
Yun muna, sir.
Thank you. That's it?
Question?
For my part.
May follow-up lang, sir. Kung hindi si Agnes, open ang Philippines to have yung representative nila, basta hindi daw po ba si Agnes Calamard?
Hindi ko po masasabi yan. Ang sinabi ko lang is ang presidente, inimbita niya ang United Nations na mag-set up the opisina rito.
Okay, questions? Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, follow-up lang po dun sa itinanong kanina regarding yung pinalabas na matrix ni President Duterte.
Opo.
He said, basically dun sa matrix na drug money from local government officials funded Marawi siege. Saan po pumapasok doon, sir, ang ISIS? At kasama din po ba doon yung funding o yung, gaya po ng tanong kanina, both?
Magkaiwal. I cannot hazard, but ang sinasabi po nung presidente, yung narco-politics, doon umiikot yun. There's where they, in a sense, the politicians abet the actual trade, which eventually goes back to, and the trade also is directly related to the local terrorist groups. Apparently, they're all in cahoots regarding the matter.
But regarding yung overall funding po doon, wala pa po ba tayong na-establish na connection between ISIS and the Maute group?
I'm not, that's not my purview to say exactly. Okay.
Pero the President is not saying na walang kinalaman ng ISIS doon sa funding doon sa Maute group, sir.
Let's put it this way. I suppose there's multiple streams of income coming in. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Lenesca?
Sir, going back to my question po kanina. Yung follow-up din po kay Pia. So,
Yes, ma'am.
having said na multiple streams, so it
That's
could
just,
be
again,
ISIS and
That's just, in a
Drug
sense,
money?
an assumption, that is an assumption.
okay. So
That's not a
so-
categorical statement, It was, since she was saying, could it be possible? Then I said, it's also possible that there are multiple streams of income coming in.
okay. So, about yung second question ko po, about
ma'am.
Sir sa SALN, you mentioned about privacy
Yes, ma'am.
as the main concern, but some of the items redacted also include description of real properties, kung ang nature.
Kasama po yan sa privacy description.
Yun nga sir, acquisition cost ng real properties and acquisition cost of personal properties. Are this cost to sir? So are this don't you deem these items pertinent to public important for public disclosure, since
Apparently,
this shows the wealth of the public official. So SALN is there for us to gauge if your wealth is not proportionate to your income as a government official. So without these figures of without these amounts on real properties and personal properties, how would the public know that what government officials earn is are within their salaries, are not coming from corruption?
Ma'am, as far as the reduction is concerned, it assumes that it simply assumes that certain items are held private, and that the actual summarized amounts are given. So, and that is the wisdom of the law that surrounds it.
So sir, the summary amount would
I think
be
that's-
sufficient?
Yes,
What-
that is deemed sufficient by the law.
Sir, considering what happened before with Chief Justice Corona, he was impeached over misdeclarations in his SALN. And the argument there is that he's the Chief Justice, so he should follow the law to the letter. So why is that instead of being more open, it's like being more restrictive without the, don't you think it's more restrictive now
No,
with
it's
the
not-
lack of these amounts?
It's
With the non-entry of the amounts of the wealth. So what is so
Ma'am, we can-
dangerous about disclosing the amount of the wealth?
Again, I go back to the argument, to the reason given behind, that certain items need to be kept private. However, the full disclosure has been made regarding the summarized amounts. And so from there, if indeed there is an investigation that needs to be done, then it can be followed through.
Okay, thank you.
If these things are deemed suspect. Okay. However, so in other words, you can actually make, we can actually, these disclosures are not meant to be the total disclosure of the thing. In other words, if investigations need to be done, it may be done.
Okay, thank you. Abiru, Sunstar.
Hi, sir. May we know the government's next move following President Duterte's release of drug matrix? Ano po yung plano nyo sa mga na-mention po dun sa drug matrix? Kakasuhan niyo po ba?
I'm sure that the president has a plan in mind, and let us wait for the next developments regarding the matter. However, the president, I'm sure, we can all trust that the president will, not just the president, but the whole force of government will be exercised in order to make sure that his campaign promises regarding drugs and corruption and crime will be addressed.
Okay, thank you. Follow-up matrix, Joseph Morong.
Sir, help us understand, no? Before the Marawi crisis happened, sinabi ni Presidente in one of his speeches, dark clouds are looming, and he was referring to ISIS coming into the Philippines to set up a caliphate. Yes. Now he's saying it's the drug lords that are funding or that have funded the Marawi siege. If, assuming the logic of the president, if the drug lords are indeed funding the Marawi crisis, nag-uusap yung mga drug lords and the terrorists, international terrorists.
Come again?
Nag-uusap po yung mga drug lords dito sa Pilipinas and the international terrorist who's helping the Maute group.
What's the point of the question?
Because if you're saying na now it's the drug money that has funded the
Yes.
Marawi siege, when the president said before,
More
clearly-
specifically, I think it should be, we should say not just drug money, it's narco-politics. In other words, local politicians, even apparently down to the local level, are all participating in abetting the trade. And in abetting the drug trade, which is closely related to it. Apparently, it's a circuitous loop. There's government, drugs, terror groups. So it's in a sense they're all part of this, apparently part of this loop.
So, sir, how is the drug lord helping the Maute terrorists? Parang, I'm trying to understand the logic of the president here, no? If he's saying it's a drug war now. Kung halimbawa, sir, that the drug money is funding the terrorist activities in Marawi, paano makaka-benefit yung mga drug lords by helping the terrorists?
Okay, I cannot give you the specifics regarding that matter, but the assumption is that this is without excluding external funding, but part of the local funding to buy equipment, food, and stuff like that is provided by the sale of local drugs, by the local sale of drugs, and which can only be done if by being abetted by the local politicians.
Rosa Venaria.
Ay, good morning ulit, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, yung ano po kasi, yung dati pong mga intelligence reports regarding po sa Abu Sayyaf group na connection nila sa drug syndicate, hindi po ba si Isnilon Hapilon as the ASG leader at emir po ng ISIS dito sa Southeast Asia, yun po ba yung connection ng drug lords, ng drug traffickers, dun po sa terrorism? Yun po yung pagkakadeklara po kay Isnilon Hapilon as the emir of ISIS in Southeast Asia. Kasi po yung ASG, previous intel reports po, konektado raw po sa drug syndicates. Pinupondohan din po ng drug syndicates. At yung ASG members daw po ay mga drug dependents or drug addicts din. Kaya nila nagagawa yung mga karumal-dumal nilang pagpatay dun sa kanilang mga bihag. Palagi po ba ninyo, yun po ang naging tuntungan ng presidente sa kanyang paghahayag ng koneksyon ng terorismo at drug syndicate?
Ang pagkakaalam ko lang po is this, nung nilabas niya yung ano, I think the key thing to understand is that the president, yung nilabas na listahan na yon is specifically connects local politics or local politicians to the whole drug trade. So yun po ang mahalaga. You don't need to go back all the way to the ASG and all that. Pero yun po kanyang listahan at this stage, ang sinasabi ko lang ang malinaw sa akin, ang malinaw po sa listahan na yon is that konektado ang local politicians. Kaya hindi pa lagi yung sinasabi narco-politics. Yun po ang idinidiin niyan lagi.
O yun nga po, yung ASG kasi si Isnilon Hapilon.
Hindi po yung ASG, yung mga local na mga ano.
Ibig ko pong sabihin kasi, di ba nag-join force daw po yung ASG at saka Maute, di ba yun yung sinasabi ng presidente ng ilang beses na. So kung yung ASG ay konektado sa drug syndicates, so hindi po ba malayong kaya sila nagkaroon ng koneksyon sa mga narco-politicians, yung Maute, dahil po dun sa connection nila sa ASG. Yun po yung aking punto.
Probably so. Okay. No, but the point is, medyo masalimot yung yung explanation niya. It's kind of circuitous. But the point is, the whole exercise in revealing that was simply to just say that to reveal that the names actually of certain actually local politicians at the local level na kasali sila dyan. Okay?
Okay, last questions. Other issue? Lenesca.
Ano na? Oo nga, tapos na yan.
Last na po from my answer. Sir, the President said that his preferred successor would be his daughter po, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte.
All right.
But he has previous statements that he is not after power. In fact, if Alan Cayetano won, he could have resigned already. But at this point, so how do we reconcile this, the lack of desire, that he's not after power and yet he is saying that the daughter can succeed?
Okay,
him?
first and foremost, this was it was done on a one-on-one with one particular. It was not an official statement. Okay, that statement was made to one reporter. Pangalawa, I think you're making a breathtaking leap by assuming that he wants power when he says that his daughter is somebody that he trusts. I think the president is just being very, very pragmatic. You know, it's not a question of wanting to perpetuate power, but ensuring that whatever gains he has, whatever gains that we have made, the administration may have made, will be preserved by somebody that he actually trusts. I think the issue here is trust. The issue here is that he trusts the capability of Sara. At this stage, that is his statement. Okay, yun na statement niya. Nakita niyo yung capacity, capability, puso, intention ni Sara Duterte. I think you have to consider her as an independent personality, not just his daughter. Para bang she is an effective person and mayor and politician who happens to be his daughter. So it's not a question of wanting to perpetuate power. So, you know, I think there's a huge difference between the two.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Malacanang Press Corps. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, Office of Civil Defense Assistant Secretary James Purisima. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.